My relatives chuckled when I referred to flour, butter, and sugar as treasures and my bakery dream as a childhood hobby, unsuitable for a real job, but dreams refute doubters. When my bakery began making money, my idol brother Isaac proclaimed himself co-founder of my sleepless nights and sore hands. They didn't know I'd saved every receipt, every dollar he accepted, every lie they told, every dinner in which they praised him and pitied me. I wasn't just rising the bread, I was piecing together a case. In court, my apron removed, my evidence ready to disentangle their lies. If you've seen your supporters become doubters, my tale will strike home. I'm Janice, and from the age of 6, I dreamed of a bakery filled with warmth. As friends danced, I kneaded dough at midnight, learning from destroyed pies. All paychecks from washing dishes or doing laundry found their way into my bakery jar. My parents, Joe and Kathy, laughed. Dad, a laborer, saw existence in brick and steel. Baking is a hobby, Mom, a secretary, said with a weary smile. No one constructs a future on frosting. Isaac, 3 years older, their pride repaired cars, his oil-smeared hands reliable. I was the odd one, addressing yeast as if it heard. At dinner, news of my culinary school acceptance. The table went still. Culinary school? Dad snarled. That's not school, it's cooking class. Isaac snorted. What's the plan, Jan? A cookie stand? Their laughter drowned the silverware. I worked harder, double shifts, peddling cupcakes out of my car, saving until my hands hurt. My first $18 at the farmer's market elicited eye rolls. A whole day for $18? Mom scoffed. But $18 was 40, 80, 200, small loaves leavening slowly. When I leased a small downtown store, big enough for 2 ovens and a case, I invited in my parents. They didn't show. Dad's final words, call us when you have a real job. 18 months passed. Then Janice's kitchen was aglow at 6 a.m., cinnamon wafting, lines for croissants. I wasn't wealthy, but proud, breathing without hourly checks on my balance. Success, such as sugar, came into focus. Not all sweet, Isaac began stopping by. First monthly, then by the day, swaggering in, carrying flour, pouring coffee, winking at customers. Our bakery's doing great. I thought he was joking until our bakery became his mantra. He reorganized shelves, behaved like he owned the place. One Saturday, overwhelmed with wedding cakes and cupcakes, Isaac walked in 2 hours late, smelling of beer. When the crowd had dispersed, I approached him. What's this wee business, Isaac? You don't work here. His smile disappeared. Ungrateful, he said coldly. Mom and Dad will freak when they hear about how you treat family. Sunday dinner was an ambush. My parents, their faces set with practiced sympathy, awaited. Janice, Mom started, we need to talk about how you're treating Isaac. Dad nodded. He's contributed to your little business. He needs recognition. Recognition? I said. He helped twice a week and I paid him. Family helps family, Mom snapped. When they work on something, they get a share, 50-50 for lugging flour around. I glanced at them, familiar faces, colder than strangers, looking at opportunity. Not my dream. I'm not giving half my business, I said gently. Ungrateful, Mom hissed. Selfish. Dad contributed. Isaac smiled like he had swiped a crown. She'll get with the program when she realizes how much she needs me. That evening, in my apartment over the bakery, I cracked, not as a victim but a volcano, years of frustration boiling over. I dried my face, made coffee, and strategized. I hadn't struggled this far to let them take away what I'd worked for. Weeks later, my parents dropped by unexpectedly. Mom smiling at shoppers. This is a family business. Dad proposed Isaac receiving more power. Isaac became intolerable, reorganizing shelves, unauthorized client commitments, boasting about our 5-year plan. He did not have an apron. Then I saw the money. Small discrepancies missing after peak days. Always when Isaac assisted. I blamed myself initially. Hasty transactions. Simple errors, but patterns developed, always on his shifts, in round figures, not miscalculations. I implemented a cash register system monitoring every transaction. The shortages persisted, correlated with Isaac's work. Intentional skimming. Isaac's deception was flawless when I questioned him about the lost cash. "You're accusing me of stealing?" he retorted, voice heavy with mock sorrow. "I'm your brother John, working to establish this business on my own for free, and you accuse me of stealing from you?" His performance was so real I questioned myself. Perhaps stress was causing paranoia. Then Natalie, my youth friend at the credit union, mentioned Isaac's deposits, timed suspiciously following my most hectic bakery days. She could not publish his words legally, but her testimony sparked a blaze. That evening, I hired accountant Diana, a friend of mine, to go over my books. Her report struck like a blow. During more than 8 months, all but $12,000 disappeared. Small, scattered sums masquerading as cash-handling mistakes, but unmistakably linked to Isaac's schedules. Not only was he stealing, he was deliberate, organized. I presented my evidence to my parents. Their answer wounded me. "You're paranoid," Mom dismissed. "Isaac wouldn't do that. He's family." "Perhaps go over your accounts," Dad said. "Business is tricky. You're terrible with numbers." Isaac's punch was worse, dished out in my kitchen as if it were his. "Perhaps some money was confused. Family business, you understand? The solution isn't recriminations. Give me the partnership I'm owed, and we'll sort the finance." Extortion supported by my parents for not reporting his theft. It was 2 a.m. in my deserted bakery, filled with mixers and dreams, that I made up my mind. No more fighting on their turf. I'd triumph on mine. Revenge, just like baking, required finesse. Ingredients, timing, patience. I began by securing my bakery, reorganizing it as an LLC. Sole proprietor, me. Each asset, recipe, contract, legally mine. I collected receipts documenting payments to Isaac for sporadic assistance, bank statements, tax returns, supplier agreements, a stack of evidence. This was my dream, my sweat. Then, I let Isaac believe he was getting his way. When he insisted upon a partnership meeting with our parents, I complied, smiling. When he insisted upon co-ownership, I nodded contemplatively. I'll think about it. When my parents bullied me at get-togethers, I yielded. Perhaps you're right. Isaac's been a good helper. Family's crucial. They believed they were cracking me. I was stalling to create an airtight case. Diana tracked down each bogus transaction. The new register system kept records of who opened the cash drawer, Isaac's fingerprints. Literally, on missing funds, his bank deposits corresponding to my losses. I wanted better than theft proof. I needed to break their story of Isaac and me as equals. I recorded his absences, most days. Work he reported but didn't do. Customers he boasted about bringing but who arrived through my ads or word of mouth. Security cameras, added after the thefts, became my friend. Evidence of Isaac stashing cash, showing up hungover, taking off early, or stuck to his phone. I assembled witnesses, customers from my farmers market days, vendors who witnessed me constructing solo, business owners who testified to my work ethic, the icing on the cake, secret recordings of family conversations. Colorado's one-party consent statute allowed me to record Isaac boasting to our parents about deserving 60% after they pressured my partnership. Mom talked about the bakery supporting Isaac adequately as a co-owner. Dad intended to put Isaac's name on loans, referring to him as the actual business brain. They schemed to take my work and eliminate me. Thinking I was weak, Isaac demanded an ultimatum in my bakery. "Jan, this has gone on long enough. I demand 50% ownership or I'll seek other alternatives." "Other alternatives?" I replied calmly. "Like stealing more, sabotaging my business, running to Mom and Dad." "You're right, Isaac. Let's make this official." His greedy smile spread. 3 days later, a process server handed him lawsuit papers. At the hearing, my parents strutted in like it was Isaac's coronation, telling everyone I'd come to my senses to give him his deserved partnership. Isaac, dressed in his finest shirt, hair neatly combed, was arrogant, whispering to our parents, pointing at me as if I were a wild child domesticated. They had no idea what hit them. The judge addressed the case. Isaac's court-appointed attorney portrayed Isaac as a devoted family member who'd built my bakery and should be rewarded. "Your Honor," he spoke up, "my client worked months of effort, adding great value. This is a matter of making something official between businesses. My attorney, Business fraud expert Kayla Reed stood at attention with a hefty folder. "Your Honor," she started, "this isn't a dispute about a partnership. It's deliberate theft, fraud, and attempted extortion." Kayla went through Isaac's bank statements, deposits equaling my missing money to the last cent. Security cameras caught him stashing cash from my till next. Recorded phone calls caught him boasting about demanding ownership. The clincher. My evidence of his contributions versus his demands. Isaac informed all he had constructed the bakery from scratch. Evidence demonstrated he worked 6 hours weekly for 8 months, paid nothing toward startup expenses, introduced 3 documented customers, and stole almost $12,000. The judge's face iced with each exhibit. Isaac's defense fell apart. He confessed to taking money as compensation, asserted partnership as warranted, described his demands as reasonable. My parents saw their golden boy disintegrate. The ruling was crisp, rewarding. Isaac was made to pay back every pilfered cent, interest, and fines. His claim to ownership was thrown out altogether. My restraining order was upheld by the judge, prohibiting him from my bakery or business harassment. The win wasn't legal alone. It was seeing my parents understand their favorite son was a thief, and their naive daughter had taken him down in court. Their shocked faces paid back every night of insomnia, every swiped dollar, every dinner arguing for my right to exist. I assumed the courtroom was the end. I was mistaken. A week later, my parents showed up outside my bakery. Mom's voice oozed insincere sweetness. "Janice, honey, drop the charges. We can be family again. Isaac suffered enough." I almost laughed. They hadn't cared when I worked 18-hour days. When Isaac stole, when stress overwhelmed me. Now, with their son in trouble, I was family. "You only remember I'm your daughter when it's convenient for you," I told them, locking eyes. I did this on my own. Made it through Isaac's thievery on my own. Came out victorious on that lawsuit on my own. I'll survive without you too. Their horror was almost laughable. Mom's faint, "You don't mean that, Dad's, we're your parents." "No," I replied, "you're Isaac's parents. You made that decision a long time ago." I escorted them to the door, locked it, and frosted wedding order cupcakes in the most serene afternoon of years. 3 years on, Janice's kitchen flourishes beyond my wildest dreams. A second shop opened in the town next door with investors who believe in my vision, not my surname. 4 full-time staff share my enthusiasm for bringing beauty and taste. Customers line up pre-dawn for my signature sourdough. Wedding season brings clients trusting me with their celebrations. A local newspaper featured my small business success. I keep the article on my office wall, not for validation, but as proof of dreams deemed impossible, a hobby turned career, a silly girl who built something real. Isaac's reputation never recovered. Our small town knows him as the brother who stole from his sister and got caught. He relocated 2 towns away, fixing cars at an auto shop, living from check to check, blaming everyone except himself. My parents are strangers now, driving by my bakery, slowing down but never stopping. They picked their side in a war they initiated and lost. I didn't win. I overcame. The sweetest revenge isn't discrediting doubters. It's creating a life so real. Their opinions don't matter. Each day, opening my bakery, scenting fresh bread baked at dawn, I remember that teenage girl whose family ridiculed her hobby. She'd be proud of this venture, this resilience, cutting off those not worthy of a seat at my table. The greatest strength is proving yourself worthy to yourself, not those who called you worthless. That triumph is sweeter than any treat.